So it's about 8:30 in the morning, 20 after 8 in the morning on April 20th, which is a Thursday. We spoke last about 24 hours ago. Um, I was up late in the afternoon yesterday. I guess it would have been about 6 o'clock or so that I got up. Um, it took me a few hours to get up and get something to eat. Um, After I was done eating, I needed to take a nap. Um, so I had about a 3 hour nap in there, but that kind of doesn't really count. Um, we're going on 2 days here. Um, I spent the night finally doing the editing process that I meant to do last night. Um, didn't get done. Things don't always get done. When you come back after a party, you're not always feeling the best. It's done now, or it's almost done. I'm waiting for something to process. That's the last week of March, and then I'll have to worry about the. Well, I'm gonna do the first week of April coming up as well. I'm in bed. It's raining. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get up or not. I'm out of cash. It's only a week, but I don't really have a lot of options. The other night worked out. It worked out exactly the way I wanted to. I mean, again, apologies to Mr. Pharmacist. I'll pay you back, sir. It didn't. I didn't expect it, but I couldn't turn back once it happened. So, regardless, that's what I wanted. I wanted to find a way out of paying the bottling fee, and I did, and it worked out. But that leaves me pretty much without anything for the rest of the month. I have one potential plan, and that's records. Um, I don't even like records. I think records sound like shit. I have a record player. Um, there's some records I'm going to want to keep, but I inherited a bunch of records. I haven't looked at them in years. I'm probably never going to look at them. Um, if I get a couple of dollars for it, that's better than nothing. It's just going to sit on the shelf there forever anyways. So I'm going to try that. I got to wait for it to stop raining because I'm going to need to go get a shopping cart to take it down to the store. You can't move records the same way you can move CDs, right? I need to get a cart. And what I do for the rest of the month depends on what comes back on that. If I can get as little as $10 out of it, then I should be able to get out somewhere tonight. Because there's a cheap show at the same place I went the other night in Windsor. If I can get a little bit more, I may consider crossing the bridge, or I might put it aside and say, there's something else coming up in the next couple of days I want to work on as well. So I'm going to need to sort through those. I'm also going to need to do a quick kind of run through the rest of the month, right? Ultimately, it depends on what I've got, but what I do tonight depends on how I want to use it, right? It's way cheaper to stay in Windsor, but it's not my first choice. So we'll see how that works out. If it doesn't work out, then I'm in for the night, and I'll get back to doing the music review stuff. Sorry, I saw that coming, but I was hoping I could put aside a fresh battery for the night. In fact, that wasn't thought through well. I probably should put it in because I'm going to spend probably quite a bit of time going through the records on camera. Anyways, I've wasted most of this month. And I kind of feel like I had to. I want to get back to the review section, and I want to get ultimately back to the discography, but I feel like I need to do the court. Like I need that kind of has to be a priority, which means I have to go through all of the vlogs, um, which means that I have to do the things associated with that. Um, I've also started uploading to an unlisted playlist all of the information so that it's accessible. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff is gonna get used when I get to a courtroom, right? Are they gonna want to go to YouTube and watch it from there? Is there gonna be a laptop that I can, just kind of put a video into? I'm gonna bring my laptop along with the information on it. Well, I guess if I'm bringing the laptop, I don't need to bring a disk. Um, Actually, no, I should put it on a disk just in case I need to hand it up. Um, but I mean, yeah, this is the I guess it's been what, since the 10th, anyways. Probably before that. I can check that. Yeah, since I'm trying to look at the best spot for that. Yeah, it's been since I came back from floating points. It looks like I guess I maybe lost most of the 12th. So not the floating point. It was the other show. So yeah. Or what did I? I probably mentioned it here on my vlog too. This is pointless. I'm just wasting battery space. But it's been the last like 10 days or so. I've been focusing on that, and it seems like a waste of time and everything, and I kind of get that. Um, but it's kind of like I got to do it, right? Um, I don't want to be. I have a habit of procrastinating, right? So if I don't do this now, I know that what's going to happen is I'll get like the day before the court, and I just won't have time to do it. So, um, on top of that, I mean, like I'm also like I have vlogs scheduled now until the end of June, right? So like it's the second half of May and all of June are like it's I'm a good way forwards there, right? Um, yeah, this was it was Thursday when I woke up on Thursday, the 13th. I think I just lost the 12th. Yeah, that's right. I got lost in the hole. Yeah, okay. So yeah, this is like I said, it's not exactly what I want to be doing. I want to get back, right? But I don't. I have to do this now, and I completely. I don't even remember why I'm telling you this. These are the most exciting vlogs ever, aren't they? What the hell was my point even? I don't even know. I know that that's what I did all night. Um, I need to spend the morning sorting through vinyl to see if there's anything of any value. If there is, that will determine how I spend the evening. So I still have a little bit of editing to do before I can get to the vinyl, but I'm going to put this down. And, I lost my point somewhere. I don't even know what the hell I was trying to say. Okay, so one way or another, I think I'm going to need to do trips with this. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to do it we're going to stagger it. Okay, so these are that whole shelf was full. These are the ones that are not going anywhere, and there's like maybe 10 there. These are the ones in here is about probably 75 or so Beatles records. My dad had a thing with collecting Beatles records. If I can get $1 for each of them. But I mean, the Beatles records aren't worth anything. I don't know, like, I'm sure he had it in the back of his mind that he'd find, the perfect mint copy of Abbey Road original pressing or something. It's not worth anything. Well, it's how many copies of it did they make? There's this rule in economics called supply and demand. If they make a whole lot of something, then its value goes down over time. But I mean, if I'll admit, if it's a good record, I mean, if things were priced based on their abstract value, what I'm doing with this pile here is I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull out the ones that I don't really want to sell, and that's going to go into this pile here, and I'm actually going to leave these here. Okay, so what I've got in here so far is some U2 records, Genesis, Demiola, Zappa, Eno and Fripp. These are records that no doubt sound better on CD, and if I'm ever going to listen to them, I'll listen to them on CD. But I have some reason where I might actually want to keep them because I actually like these records. A lot of these other ones, I don't really know exactly where they came from. But let's go through here. This is the best of Billy Cobham. I'm certainly a Billy Cobham fan, there's no question about that. But I don't like these best of discs. Give me the records. Blue Oyster Cult, Revolution by Night. I haven't listened to much Blue Oyster Cult. I think that the most amount of Blue Oyster Cult I listened to was in old Smashing Pumpkins covers. But I haven't really been impressed. That's not my thing. This is a Bruce Cockburn record. I have a certain amount of respect for Bruce Cockburn, but I don't listen to Bruce Cockburn. Same thing here. My dad was a bit of a Bruce Cockburn fan. Should I hang on to this Chick Corea? Who's the guitarist on it? Is there a guitarist? Doesn't appear to be a guitar. Well, there's no guitar. What the fuck's the point? What kind of crazy person makes music without a guitar? So you've got Corea playing piano, and all the piano-like things. Steve Gadd on drums, Stanley Clarke on bass. I guess it's the violin. There's really no guitar on here. That's a Chick Corea record. I'll put that in the second pile. This is a late electric light orchestra record. I like their first record, but after that they got kind of stupid real quick. Same thing here. Fleetwood Mac, it's not something that I'm going to listen to. I'm going to put the Gowan record in the second pile. Again, this is Herbie Hancock. As you can tell, I never listened to it. Ian Hunter is... Hey, my dad grew up in the 70s. Jane Siberry should be in the second pile, too. Jeff Beck is kind of boring. Sorry, guitar people. I don't think I'm ever going to listen to a Joan Baez record. This Judas Priest thing here, I don't know what the fuck it is. It might be worth something, though. I don't know where it even came from. This is Let Into Gold. That was my own purchase. It's a Zeppelin record. Which one is this one? Is this the fourth one? I don't know my Zeppelin from CD covers. I know it from mixtapes. I think this is the fourth one with Stairway and everything on it. I think. Um, it's Into the Outdoor. Another Zeppelin record. It's Neil Young, Live Rust. I do like this record quite a bit, but I mean I think I have it on CD. Um, Neil Young Trans. I don't know what these labels are for. Anyways. Patrick O'Hearn was a bassist in the Zappa set. Was it Zappa? Who's on it? Bozio's on it, so I think it was Zappa. He's a bassist, I guess. Paul McCartney, Ram. No comment. This is a Floyd, a collection of great dance songs. I'm a substantial Floyd fan. I have all the good ones on CD, anyways. I don't need that. I'm not sure exactly what this is. I think at one point I thought it was an REM record because this is PFM and I misread it. Um, I suspect it might be some 70s prog act. I don't recognize any of the names or anything. Winston Marsalis, a jazz uh, horn player. This is not. I'll pick it up on CD if I pick it up. ZZ Top. Again, something my dad liked and that I don't. Trevor Rabin. I think he was the guitarist from Yes, a later guitarist from Yes. I'll never listen to that. This is a classic record, a very good classic record. I'm gonna put this in the second pile, even though I mean that's. What did I skip over here? Did I skip over? The Zeppelin doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, I don't think I skipped over anything here. I'm gonna put the Moody Blues record in the second pile too, and the Edgar Winter Group. Again, I have a certain level of respect for Edgar Winter and his brother Johnny, but it's not my thing. None of these are in really great shape. It's more a potential that I can get bulk out of it, right? So I'm gonna put these in here, and I'm gonna take that as my first run. If I get enough, well, there's like 100 here, right? Even if he gives me 50 cents each, then that's $50. If he gives me $1 each, it's $100, right? But if I can get 20, 30 out of it, then that'll be enough for me to stay here for the night anyways. Once we get through that process, we'll see what I got, and we'll see if I need to take that or not. I'll no doubt split that into a second, two more tiers into the ones I really want to keep and the ones that I definitely don't. Or sorry, in the ones I really want to keep and the ones that I can let go of because I've got somewhere else. Okay, so that was my run through. If I ever do that, I ran through it last time I did it, and if I ever do it again, I'll run through it again. So, like I said, worst case scenario, if I can get a 20 out of this, then I can go out tonight. I can go to 2 different places and be all right. If I get more than that, then I can start thinking about maybe crossing the border. What's it going to cost? It's going to be 10, plus I'm going to need 15, 25. 15 plus 20 is, 40. So it would cost me like $70 to go, $70 Canadian to go over. Like, it's kind of maybe a little bit silly, considering that I can have probably just as much fun here for 20. So. The other thing is that if I stay here and spend 20 instead of going over there and spending 70, I could also maybe go out somewhere else in a couple more days. So, what are these worth to me? The ones that I'm getting rid of right now are not worth anything to me. The Beatles records might have sort of a mild kind of what's what I'm looking for here, sentimental value, but the truth is that it's not very strong. I can get the Beatles anywhere in any format. I know it sounds better on CD. And if I really, really need to, I can even record somebody. Hey, it exists on the internet if you look for it. Go look for it. Go look for people recording Beatles records on vinyl on the internet. Is there? I don't see any reason why I would ever want to do that. And in fact, I would never listen to them in here. That said, I expect to bring most of them back anyway. I don't think he'll. If he takes a couple of them, that'll be surprising. Because, like I say, I know they're not worth anything. It's more of a Hail Mary. But if I'm lucky, like I say, maybe you'll give me $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece or something. And if you do that, then I can, if I can convert a stack of Beatles records into $50, then that's, I mean, they're not increasing in value. See, I mean, and that's the error, right? The error that my father made, and that no doubt countless of other people have made over time, over the last 50 years, 60 years, is the idea that if you hold on to Beatles records, then they'll be worth more in the future. It hasn't, and it's never going to. Maybe, okay, I'll acknowledge the point. Maybe one day, 300 years from now, but will you still be able to play it? Right. But then again, you wouldn't want to play it, and that's kind of it's this kind of like. I'm fully aware that in my lifetime these Beatles records won't be worth anything, and in fact, the reality is that he probably won't take any of them. But we'll see how that goes. Next step is I need to go get a cart, so I've got that to put aside and take a run, and we'll take that out after, and we'll see. It is supposed to warm up this afternoon, but it's also supposed to take its time. Where's that 30-degree humidity? It'll be here soon. Thankfully, well, I expected a little bit of rain, so that's why I put it in that container. I've just got to find a cart. Hopefully I find one halfway there. There's a Judas Priest picture disc. I think we looked at it briefly. It might be worth something because it's unopened. I could probably get more for it if I sold it on eBay or something. But that disc alone might get me to my minimum target. Which the last time I did this, I had a more steady goal. I kind of knew more exactly what I wanted. This time I'm just kind of, whatever, give me what you can get me. And we'll go from there, kind of thing. Because I'd probably go out every night this week, if I could. I'm just in that kind of mood, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about getting enough to go at least somewhere tonight. Remains to be seen if I stay in Windsor or not. Although, the more I'm thinking about it, the more there's a specific place in Windsor that I think I might want to avoid on this specific day. But if I end up on the low end of it, that's exactly where I'm going to end up. So, like, I'm almost kind of thinking, like, I don't trust this government, and I kind of fear that they're going to use this day as an opportunity to set an example, which I don't want to see. Like I said, it's supposed to warm up this afternoon. Maybe even by the time I get done this mess. We're rolling. That was a spectacular success. He took everyone in the box and he gave me $140. Like I say, nothing really worth it to me in there. So that means I can have fun for the rest of the month. And I will. Stopping home to drop the bin off before I take the cart back. And he gave me one of these. That guy was an asshole. Of the worst sort. If you... It's not 100 yen. It's $100. Which is not quite $100 in American money. It would be about $75 in American money. But, well, right now anyways. But, that's $100 Canadian. Which you don't see every day. You'll notice that it has plastic in it. It kind of glistens. It's apparently very hard to fake. I'll admit that I've never seen a real one. Unless this is a real one. What I'm getting at is I wouldn't know. Wouldn't know what to look for. All I know about this is I want to get rid of it. Because if it's not real, well, I don't want anybody to know that. So, I tried the grocery store. So I tried the first place I would have checked would have been at the 7-Eleven, because I probably would have done it, but it was full. So the next place I'm going to try is a grocery store. Can I pick up a couple of things? Considering that I've got cash now. I don't think I'm going to, actually. I might, if I've got money like the last day of the month, I might pick up some green peppers. I think that's really all I need. I think I'm good otherwise. Believe it or not. The only other thing is some salami. Maybe I'll get some salami on the way back. Considering I've got some money now. I'll just get a little bit, $5. Okay. Oh, I need to take my pills before I go. So then I meant to find a way to relieve myself of a mixed. I hope it's a blessing. I hope it's not I hope it doesn't turn into a problem. Either way, I do have $40 verified, real money. And that will at least get me through the night. And then some. I don't know. This is enough that I might be considering going to Detroit tonight. I'm going to take a look and see. It depends on how many other things there are. Like, I'm thinking I might have enough money to go see Touche Amore now. Right? And if I do, then I gotta balance things. There was another show called Moon Duo. I listened to that. The show at the Majestic seems really good. It's UV Hippopotamus. The thing is that it might even be done early enough that I can get over here to Fog and see the band at the end. I'm not sure about that, right? But I might be able to get to both, right? But the question is it worth the money? That's what the question is. Anyways, let me see what I can do with this first. Like I said, I'm gonna try the grocery store. I think that's probably my best bet. Best bet. But I don't think there's anything there I want to get. Got a pop or something. Tried a second time. Well, I actually went in there and asked the 7-Eleven, and it's a little too big. So I'm going to the grocery store after all. that was a good haul, based on what it's. I mean, if it works out, you know, it's actually more than I expected. So. Am I really feeling any of it though? I mean, now that I'm walked out, the pilot stuff we went through didn't mean anything to me. Like, none of it. I pulled out stuff that meant something to me, right? So, the answer is no. Except some of the Beatles stuff. I was not expecting him to even look at the Beatles stuff. That's partly why I was expecting it to be so much less. Just because, I mean, like I say, like I say, people think that about Beatles records, right? You know, it's like, I have an old Beatles record, it must be worth something. Like, they made 25, 30 million copies of that record. It's probably not worth anything. And in fact, I was lucky for him to take it. It's good to know. I mean, that's a store that'll take your Beatles shit. Great. Not all of them will. In fact, like I say, it's a nice experience, but most of them won't. So, I fluked at it on that. But, would I like to keep any of it? Maybe I could have put aside one copy of Revolver. One copy of Sgt. Pepper's. One copy of Magical Mystery Tour. One copy of the White Album. And one copy of Abbey Road. That's one of the best ones. Maybe I could have. But if I had, it would have just sat, you know, like, I definitely wouldn't have played them. There were a lot of blues, a lot of reds, you know, a couple Hey Judes. The Beatles put out a lot of compilations, and there was a whole bunch of them there, love songs. I have most of their proper records on CD. And the ones that I don't have, that I might want, I'm sure I'll pick up on CD eventually. I guess maybe there's something to be said with a mono signal, but I'll go with the remasters myself. Thank you very much. So, mild sentimental loss upon any. This is where I found it, so I leave my cards where I found them. Proper anarchist thing to do, because I was, after all, just borrowing it. Mild sentimental loss, nothing of any real value, any cogent thought process at all will clearly demonstrate that it was better to sell it. So, not even going to dwell upon it. I sure did waste all my batteries today, though, didn't I? I'm gonna have to be quiet until I actually go it. Or I may have to buy some batteries. And it is indeed starting to warm up like they said it would. It's damn near gorgeous out, I must say. Very nice day. Very, very nice day. Well, that's unexpected. I'm sure that it looks like old folks, I'm sure they'll find it useful, though. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Get your local transit company to give the old folks a ride to the store? Why not? Bye-bye, Borden, and good riddance to you this time, as it was good riddance to you every other time that you've ever left. And a fuck you too. Okay, so he's getting the boot. He's getting pushed off. And I don't know. I always like Mackenzie. You know, Mackenzie did a lot of good, but fuck Borden, and good riddance to Borden. We do not need to see Borden on our dollars anymore. So this has worked out well, about as well as it could. I just need to go get some salami. I'm super hungry too. It's a little unexpected. No, I'm not gonna start. Just because I got more than I expected doesn't mean I'm gonna throw it away. I'm gonna make sure that I get to as many shows as I can. And speaking of which, I think I'm leaning towards staying in Canada tonight. Perhaps against my better judgment. If I was an asshole cop, like a real asshole cop, you know the kind I mean, the kind of cop that's just a real jerk. If I was a real asshole cop, I'd know exactly what I would do tonight. I would go raid higher limits tonight. No, if I was like the asshole of asshole cops, that's exactly what I would do. I would go raid higher limits tonight. So why am I going to go there then? It seems like the last place. It seems like the dumbest thing you could do is to go to higher limits on 420, right? It's like the dumbest thing you could possibly do. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I should. The place seems stable enough. I mean, I don't expect to be walking around with a large amount or anything. So you gonna process me for, it's not gonna. What I'm kind of getting at is that even if it does get raided, I can't they're not gonna be able to do anything to me personally. So I'm kind of thinking that this is the best thing to go to. I need to double check though. Because my better judgment tells me that in fact I probably actually want to get out of the country today. Because like I said, I don't trust the government. Like it seems like this is the kind of thing that it seems like they'd want to do. Right? Is arrest you at the protest at 420. I'll have a little bit of time to see. I'll check the news reports. If it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I check the news reports and it's like dozens of arrests at Parliament Hill, then I think that maybe I might. See, you like my news voice? Dozens of arrests at Parliament Hill. It's the totally anal news voice. Although it's also kind of a Kent Brockman voice too, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, it is Ken. I got rid of the Borden, and I'm getting some salami, and I might need like a green pepper at the end of the month, but I did need salami. That was the one thing I needed for sure. So I got a $5 of salami, and we'll go from there. So I've decided that the jazz band can wait because this gives me an opportunity to see Touche Amore next week. Or maybe not. I might even just pocket it. Now, on second thought, let me look at the numbers here one more time. On second thought, this Touche Amore show just doesn't make any sense. It's they got 4 bands on the bill now, and it's from 6 to 9. Half-hour sets, and the GA is $35. That is a massive ripoff. So I'm going to avoid that. Sorry. Well, I saw Touche Amore a few months ago, and it was actually a good set, but it's just like I got. It was like $15, and they headlined. Like, this is just a stupid ripoff. There's nothing else to it. So that leaves me with, in fact, a lot more money than I intended. And the weather. Let me double check. I think the weather this weekend's shit. Weather. Well, because no, and it matters because like, if it was gonna be like super nice, I might want to think about going dancing or something, right? But it's like, high on Saturday is 13, and we're not even gonna get a nice day. So it's like, there's like another show or two, but like I get paid on, what is it, the 20th or the 29th. It's just like, there's just not. I actually ended up with way more money than I needed. That's the truth of it. Like I said, I wasn't expecting them to even look at the Beatles records. But I mean, it's not like they were just sitting there, and they would have just sat there collecting dust forever. I never would have listened to any of them, and I'd rather have them on CD. So, I'm at a loss of what to do with all this money. The Sacred Bones thing doesn't look so good. I'm gonna go to Detroit tonight. It was like good. I don't even need the money for groceries. It's just like so. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get ready to go to the lounge. I'm gonna stop by there. It might be a little after 4:20 when I get there. And I'm gonna hang out there for a bit, and then I'm gonna go over, and then I'm gonna come back and go to the fog, and maybe that'll work out, and maybe it won't. We'll have to see. But I'm just throwing myself out there, and we'll see where I go with a kind of vague concept of things. I should have kept one each. Doesn't matter now. Fire trucks on. Sorry. Fire trucks on 420. Excuse me. You know what that means. Looks like it stopped raining. Or at least I've got a space. I'm gonna take off. I suspect it's one of the busiest days of the year. Between 5 and 7. Potheads won't black out, but they might pass out. Drunks are worse, but I bet 420 is a bad day for fires, honestly. Okay, it's about 20 to 6, so I'm running a little late, always. But I don't really have a schedule to worry about. I'm wearing the same thing I wore yesterday, because there's no reason to change. I think I'm looking good. No shot of me there. And just a little more. Okay, I'm ready to go. It's actually kind of nice and bright and sunny, but I think I'm sneaking in between clouds. Find out in a few minutes. I'm on a short battery here, so I need to be a little bit careful. So why have I never gone to this place before? Seems like a place I might want to go to, right? I like to know it a little bit, and they have really quite exquisite amenities. For example, they have a video game lounge. And so what is this place? Well, it's actually maybe not the best place for me to go to meet people. I might be wrong, I haven't really been in there. But it sounds like kind of a... I'll put it to you this way. If my friends from high school lived in Windsor, they'd probably hang out there. And I kind of made it I made a little bit of an effort to kind of distance myself. Because I kind of didn't have anything in common with them. So, do I really want to go hang out with a bunch of stoned video game addicts? No, trust me, they're more addicted to the video games. Is something I really want to do? Not really, no. But I kind of feel I should check the place out at least. I haven't really been in there. So tonight is a night to go in there and see what goes down there. Although I'm pretty sure I know what goes down there because I've been at these parties. I don't know. Like I said, I don't expect to be in there very long one way or the other. I kind of expect, like I said, it's about 6 o'clock. I think I'm going to want to catch probably the 8 o'clock bus over. Meaning I'm going to want to catch a coffee maybe around 7. So I don't think I'll be in there for more than an hour. If that. Or I could walk in and have a great time and stay all night. I don't know. We'll find out. We're not going to be taking the camera in there for obvious reasons. So I'm just coming out of the lounge there. And walking towards the bus station. I left maybe a little earlier than I could have. It was kind of what I was expecting. It was maybe a little bit more livelier than I thought, but there were people off on one side playing video games, people off on another side watching a movie. There were some people playing pool in between, and some people just hanging out and talking. So it was a little bit more livelier than I might have imagined. It's also an important day, so it seemed a lot of people were there for the first time. So to answer the question, why haven't I ever been there? Well, that's why. It's not really the kind of place I really would want to hang out at. But I thought I'd stop by today just to see. Okay, so I'm early for Detroit. I'm just gonna hang out at the bus station. Maybe find some cigarettes. Yeah, I'm not even trying tonight. So I'm not. No, I made that decision before I left. I'm not even trying tonight. I want to catch the 8 o'clock bus, but what I'm really waiting for is it starting to rain a little bit, and I want to get to the bus station, that pass. If it's raining at 7:30, I'll probably wait for the 8 o'clock. So when we get there. Something that I'll say that I picked up about that place though was that it had a bit of like a community center kind of feel. Like with the TVs and stuff. It felt less like I was at like a bar. I mean, it's not a bar. but and felt more like I was at like an after-school program. You know, maybe that's just my. Well, maybe these people are kind of still in the after-school program phase, regardless of their age. But well, it just struck me as kind of two things. Number one, for the younger people, you gotta wonder maybe if they might want to waive the age limit, because it's probably better to have kids hanging out at a place like that than to have them out getting into trouble. But that applies for older kids too, right? Yeah, much older kids. But it's also probably kind of a way to get people that would be spending a lot of time alone together. I know I'm one to talk because I spend all my time alone, but I'm a special case because it's very, very considered. I mean, for people that spend all their time alone and might not want to, it's probably a good way for them to meet people. So I think there was kind of a social aspect to that maybe is overlooked, even if it's not my cup of tea. Well, I'm over. I took the 7:30 bus, and it's actually been beautiful for quite a while because the rain has mostly stopped. Even when the rain was coming down just a little bit, we had kind of like a sun shower. It's been really nice for a while. This is going to be a nice walk up. I'm going to be there early, but hey, that's fine. I kind of plan around that, to be honest with you. So it's going to be a pleasant walk. It's humid, mild but not hot. This guy's going straight. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, it's nice and humid, mild but not hot. This is going to be a nice walk. And you know I like walking. A lot quieter up here tonight than it was the last time I was here. Although the last time I was here early as well, and it was pretty quiet at first. I knew I'd get here early. That was calculated. Seems like I'm going to have to wait for a bit. So it turns out that the members of UV Hippopotamus do not like being referred to as a jazz band. I've run this by several of them, and it's more or less unanimous. I'm a little bit perplexed because, if you ask me, they sure sound like a jazz band. But I think we should respect their wishes and no longer refer to them as jazz. I am now here to see a prog band. This is by their dictate. Okay then. I was wondering why it was so quiet up here. They're not even open yet. It's a shot from the Magic Stick balcony when they're not even open yet. Huh? I'll have to clear it soon. Head back downstairs. I think I'll hang on here for a few more minutes. I'm walking back to the tunnel. I only caught the first set of that, and I'm not going to catch anything at fog. So kind of doesn't work it, but at the same time, I need to get home. So I had fun dancing. It's a Thursday. There's nowhere to go. I gotta get home. Okay, so I'm at the bus stop. My level of worry for missing the bus is very, very low. I think I probably haven't seen it come out around yet. There wasn't a point in staying. I would have waited for the intermission, and I would have come back on, I guess maybe around 12:30. I was only expecting one set, so the fact that I missed the second one is like, I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to be done even a little bit earlier, to be honest with you. So, they pleaded with me not to call them a jazz band, and I think they were right. It's maybe not exactly to their benefit. I think I liked the samples that I had heard of them on YouTube better than I liked what I saw them play. Which is not to say I didn't enjoy it. It's just it was, well,
They told me they were a funk band, and it was very funky. They told me. They were right. They're not really a jazz band. It was fun nonetheless. I had some fun dancing. The staying late thing is just, like I said, they would have played from 12:30 to 2, and then it would have only been 3 hours, but it's 3 hours at a coffee shop, and it's just not. Like I say, I was only expecting one set, so I got what I wanted, and I'm out. Um, like I said, my worry for missing the bus is very low. I think I'm here with plenty of time. Like I say, I could have stayed an extra 20, 25 minutes, but I would have just been waiting for the set, right? And nothing would have happened, so I might as well just leave, right? So I think I'm here quite early, actually. And like I say, I expect to see the bus come. See, there it is there. So, it's coming around. As expected. I had about 20 minutes. But I mean, like I say, if I would have stayed 20 minutes, I would have just waited between sets. It would have been pointless, right? I left at 12. I guess the first set was 10:30 to 12. And the second set would have been 12:30 to 2. Or maybe 12:30 to 1:30. I don't know. Either way, like I say, I was only expecting one set, and I got out when I wanted to, so it's all good. Should be here soon. Could I have stayed later tonight? Was I ready to come home? It's arguable. And thus, is this curfew annoying? Broadly, it is. But I have to reiterate that on this specific night, I was expecting the set to be over before I got to the tunnel, so I wasn't expecting a second set. Is there a certain level of freedom attached to saying, okay, I'm going to enjoy a second set that I wasn't expecting? Sure. I keep saying this to myself. I need to come prepared even on nights that I expect to come home. I don't do it. If I expect to come home, I leave my pills at home. That's the reason why I came, is because I didn't want to miss my pills, right? I mean, what would I have gained an extra hour and a half of dancing and 2 or 3 hours of the coffee? Is that worth it? But I would have done it if I did have my pills, so is that why I don't have my pills? Right? But might it have been better if I had done it anyways, right? It's the kind of... See, sometimes maybe it would be. I think maybe on this night it might have been. Other nights it wouldn't be. Maybe on this night it might have been. I didn't give myself the option. That's the problem. Then I need to walk around with a pill bottle until midnight. Which, if I'm only here until 12:30, is the whole night. It's a customs thing, right? I could put it in a less obtrusive container, but then I'm breaking the rules going through customs. I can maybe I can put it in a less obtrusive container as soon as I get out of customs. That's an idea. I'll have to figure something like that out. just getting over the bridge here and popping all 3 pills into a different, like a little pouch kind of thing that's not obtrusive like a pill bottle. Like I say, most nights I would choose to come home. Tonight I think I might have stayed. I should have the option with me. I'm here now, bus will be here soon. I think the obvious answer is a Ziploc bag. It's obvious. It will work. Just to avoid the clunkiness. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. An easily contemplated transport system. Okay. Into a Ziploc bag. To avoid the awkwardness of a pill bottle. I'll have to put this into implementation on the next adventure over. Regardless of anything else. Because it's just... like I say, it's hard to say. It's hard to say when is good to stay and when isn't. It's hard to predict. I'm learning that. I've learned it's very hard to predict. Ziploc bag it is. Well, I'm home, and who am I kidding? I'm glad I came home. See, now I need to weigh whether I would have made the right choice if I had it in a Ziploc bag. It was the right choice to come home. It just was. You know, it maximizes many things. Including sleep. I bought a pizza and some Doritos. I decided that if I'm gonna have more money than I expected, I might as well spend it. And the truth is that this is a better way to spend it than at the 7-Eleven or at the getting eggs in the diner at 4:30. Though it wouldn't even be, it would be 2:30. Yeah, eggs in the diner at 2:30, and if I'm done at 3:30, I've got 3 hours to wait. I'm glad I'm home. That was the smart choice to make. I had fun. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like you go see a show and like you want to stay until the end of the show. You know, it's like you just do. But like in context, I made the right choice to come home. I'm still gonna start bringing Ziploc bags though, because I might have. See, sometimes the wrong choice is the right choice though too, right? This is clearly the right choice, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna enjoy my pizza. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on April the 22nd, and I don't know if I'm ending it or starting it. I guess after I got home on, it would have been early Friday morning, I had some pizza, and then I fell asleep for a few hours, and then I woke up, like 2 hours, and then I woke up and I finished my pizza, and I fell asleep for 2 hours. And then I got up, I guess I was up a little bit longer in the afternoon, but not really. What did I do? I read the news for a little bit. I made some nachos, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up again around midnight. So like I keep waking up and falling asleep, and like I haven't gotten more than like 3 hours worth of sleep in one space. So my rules tell me that I'm still awake. My blogging rules. This remains the same space of consciousness. But it certainly feels like a different day.
especially considering that I woke up on, what was it? It was Wednesday night. I've already got 3 days of the vlog there, 19, 20, 21. I don't know. I'm going to do a little bit more editing here. It's pretty much all out until the 5th of April. I gotta watch it. Swapped some things around to get the space back on the drive. Um, and then I need to do, I'm gonna do some cleaning in here before I take a shower. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it, you know. Like I said, I haven't really slept, and I don't really know what day it is. Well, I know it's Saturday morning, but I don't really know if, like, I'm up on a new day or this remains the old one. It's not clear to me. I'm in that limbo. There's a little bit of a background smell in here from upstairs. This is partly why I want to take a shower. I've got the fan running. I'm gonna take a walk around because it's weird. Like the smell is stronger in this room than it is. I mean, I understand that. I mean, I've got the heat on out there, but it's. I still suspect there's somebody smoking on the other side of this wall because it's nothing that really makes any sense. But if I have to, I'll crank the heat up in the other space too. Um, I'm hoping that when I get out of the shower, um, it's mostly resolved itself. But the temperature's fallen back down, so I can't. Again, I want to open the window. I can't because it's too cold. So, it's just. It's what now? Less than 3 weeks until the court date. It can't come soon enough. They could just order them to put a fan out there, and I'd be happy with that. But if they won't do it, then the wall's coming. And it'll be a beautiful wall, too. So, sorry. Started in the wrong space. I can smell it if I go back there, and that's not expected. That's in the foyer. That's the space I'm concerned about. It's a fruity kind of smell, like a flavored tobacco. I cannot smell it in here. And in fact, if I go back around to the other side of the space, like in behind there, there's nothing back there either. They seem to have, they got a new water heater. I noticed that when I went out there. They got a new dryer, which is, I mean, they needed to do that. And it looks like they got a new water heater. Which means that hopefully the issues that we've been having with water down here, and I guess probably in the whole building, um, will be over soon, hopefully. Hopefully. And that's good. Legitimately. So if I can't smell it in here and I can't smell it back there, then that's not the source. So why would I smell it in here then? In fact, I've been aware of this for a little while. I think that the computer is running a little bit hot, and something is coming up out of it, and it smells. To me, it smells like tobacco. Now this is one thing, and this is another thing, right? It's not bad in here right now, but I mean, I need to clean in here. I think it's pretty obvious. Will I get more light if I stand back here? I got my card. I've got records out. I got dishes to do. So, like I said, I'm just gonna do a little more in here, and I don't know if I'm awake. I shouldn't be. I should be tired, but The bag needs an update, etc. So I got to do all this stuff. Am I in for the month? That's another question that I think maybe these are inside clothes, so these are clean clothes. It's not. The other possibility is that it could be my hair, which is why I want to take a shower. Um, I know my sheets smell okay, but I gotta do those soon too. I think I'm done for the month. I've got some cash. I could go somewhere else, but I'm not. This social smoking thing isn't working, and I know the reasons it's not working. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. This going to a concert and not smoking is becoming a social smoking thing, which is not what I want. And I understand the factors. We've discussed them here, and I need some space to take a step back on it. It would be very useful to me if there was an all-night dance club in Windsor. That's what I really want, right? And it will be that much more useful to me. Um, this time next year. Or maybe it won't, right? Maybe I'm also a little bit older, right? I mentioned a few times I can feel things kind of falling down. If I'm going to be bad with this, I need to give myself bigger spaces in between show dates. Because I can handle going out once, every 2 weeks, and then coming back and sleeping it off. But I don't like the idea of going out, once every couple of weeks even. Sorry, a couple of times a week even. Once every couple of weeks is fine. But like I've been going out 2-3 times a week, and when I go out 2-3 times a week and smoking, it's like I'm smoking again. I mean, it's not. I haven't bought a pack. I haven't come home and looked for cigarettes. I'm not out wandering the street bumming smokes. Like I'm over it on that sort of abstraction, on that level of abstraction, right? Like I'm done. It's just I've got it compartmentalized. I've got it baked into my party routine so strongly that I don't. I said the other day I should think about, okay, do I really need to go out? But I mean that's not. It's not a realistic reflection of what I'm actually doing when I'm going out somewhere, right? I end up spending an hour or 2 hours out on the patio, because I'm waiting for someone, or because the whole party is in the patio. I mean, that happens, right? They tell you there's a stigma around smoking as a result of public health initiatives. Well, you don't go out much at night, do you? The party's not on the dance floor. The party's on the balcony. Or at least it moves back and forth pretty strenuous. Like between sets, the whole crowd goes outside, and then the whole crowd comes back in. And I don't want to fall back into a reality of being a social. I don't want to do that. So for right now, I think I'm good for the month. I mean, I might. There's a show in a few days that I might take a walk down towards, but it's gonna be. I think now that we're past 420, I'm ready to make a more serious commitment to not smoking again. I was serious at the end of February. I ended that one night in March, and it kind of snapped me open. Um, although I didn't go anywhere for weeks afterwards, right? April has just been too much. Maybe I needed it as a little bit of stress relief for the court process, and retarded people yelling at me and everything else. Maybe I needed that. But I need to get kind of back on focus. And I don't I don't know what the answer to this is. I know I need a better strategy. I don't know what that strategy is yet. But I do think that I'm probably in for the month. I'll have to make a couple of choices in the next few days, but I'm probably in for the month. And these late night, I needed to get out. I needed that at that specific point over this week. My feet are actually, that's another thing, is my feet are fucked. I need to, I need to give my feet some rest. They're demoed. Um, I think that the conscious all night party is maybe something that I'm putting aside for a little while. Maybe even for good. I might be getting to that point. We all get to that point eventually. But you should know you shouldn't take me too seriously when I say these things. I need a better strategy with the smoking. That much is clear. And I don't know what it is at this point. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit of editing and then I gotta clean in here. That's and I don't know what day it is. I haven't slept, so I guess the day continues. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and I am actually still awake. I was considering going to a March for Science walk this morning, but decided against it at the end. I'm just sitting here. Decided against the March for Science walk. I'm not wearing pants. I was actually kind of thinking more that it would just be nice to go for a walk in the morning up a part of Windsor that I had never been in. If I had went, I would have walked up the river walkway all the way to the bridge, and then I would have walked back, and I probably wouldn't have gone again. The march was to go from the bridge to that place I went to one time when I was down there, which is right near where the tunnel is. Basically, it was a walk from the bridge to the tunnel and then back to the bridge. I live close to the tunnel, so I would have walked from the tunnel to the bridge and then back to the tunnel.
but it's too late. I got stuck pulling some things out of my face. It's. I said on camera that I was going to stop, but it doesn't. It just hasn't made sense yet. Because they keep coming. What I will say is this. I've experimented a bunch with my my skincare routine and my facial washing routine. I've done a lot of experimenting, and I think I've got something that might actually work. It means I'm gonna, like, I gotta spend an hour doing it every day. But, and I don't want to say what it is yet. It requires a lot of scrubbing. That is just the truth of it. Scrub the fuck out of myself. And it keeps the shit out. Or at least it seems to be working so far. We'll have to see in the long run. It's better anyways. The smell in here has gotten overwhelming again. I guess it's a Saturday morning. I smoked all night, and it's just heavy. It's heavy in here, it's heavy in the bathroom, it's heavy in the kitchen. My bedroom is maybe escaping it. And so I had to crack the windows back open again, despite it being, well, it could be a lot colder. Again, we'll have to wait. I had a solution. It was cheap. It cost basically nothing. We'll see what the board says in a few weeks. In the meantime, I think this is the last cold night. This is the last chilly day, I think. It's only April, but it's getting to the end of April now. And all evidence suggests that it's going to warm up early this year. And when it does, I'll just be able to sit with windows open, which is, like I said, it's what I want. It's just, it got cold overnight. What do you want me to tell you? I close the windows. It may even warm up tomorrow. So I may even have the windows open for tomorrow. That would be really nice. I still need to clean in here. Maybe some of the cleaning solution will at least mask a little bit of the smell, although it's not about the smell. I've got my vinegar back. I put it away. And I'm going to hope that a quick clean in here does what it needs to do. But I know that the ultimate problem is that is the windows. I need the windows open. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so I need to clean up in here a little bit. I just got the windows open. Hopefully it warms up. So, we're doing the bag. Okay. Let's start. In fact, this is, I think, pretty much the whole month, and it's kind of sad when you look at it. Okay, so we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of big chips. We went over this. This flavors were all mostly pretty uneventful. I went out a lot this month, meaning we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get out of here. 7, 8, 9, 10 small bags of Doritos. We've had a few false alarms here recently. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 containers of cheese. Once again, it's kind of the standard thing. 1 container of pasta, and I've got what? This one. But I don't even think that one's opened yet. Okay, so as usual, 1 container of pasta. It's the rule. Got 2 Ziploc bags, which I use to carry bills and other things in my pocket so they don't get wet. 1, 2, 3, 4 bar bracelets. The produce bag. This is recyclable. I think it's probably. Yeah. Okay, a bunch of stickers. Wall here. It's red hot top. Just I want to put the toilet paper thing on last. And okay, I think we're good. Alright, so I'm going to put the toilet paper in here. It looks pretty full. I think we'll see very shortly that it's not as full as it looks. Okay, so same as always, just put this down for a sec as I crunch this in. So the last time you'll recall, we were a bit more than a goggle I should block up. I maintained the same order. Actually, no, that's right. The last time we got a complex analysis out, or most of the complex analysis out, on top of the Gaudelescher block, which had been out since the last time. So, what have we got now? Well, got my what's pushing down here. We're still got a little block up and a complex analysis up, but it seems to have we got the extra little bit. So I said I could even maybe put this away, but I want the extra weight, so we'll leave that there. Okay, so we still got ways to go. It was just a bunch of plastic, or a bunch of it was a bunch of tin foil, a bunch of plastic and tin foil. It's not even gonna like register at the end of the day, right? You don't need a fancy machine to scrunch that down. It's nothing. But there it sits for another month. I was thinking, I got this extra cash. I've had quite a bit of it. Like I said, there's a show I want to go to on the 23rd probably still, which is now tomorrow. It's in Windsor. Why don't I take this extra cash and use it to see if I can find an old hard drive from my computer. Something else I noticed coming in the other night was that these shoes are starting to, well, they've been bad for a bit. I think they're out. We're very close to it. On top of that, they do not smell very good. So, we got some dancing out of them over the last little bit. They've been in bad shape since I came back in September. And they're just about, that was just the one. How's the other one doing? Not much better. So what happens when you dance with your shoes on, huh? But I mean, I've also been walking through water repeatedly. And they're, what, 4 years old now? It's, 3. They're 3 years old. Which is actually on the longer length for me. So I'm also going to need to get some new shoes. In fact, I've been putting off the compost run, which is connected to the IDE run, the big compost run. I'm putting off to, I could have done this in March, but it was too damn fucking cold. And then April became crazy. Is May gonna be? Last year it was May that was the crazy month. I don't. I'll be very surprised if. I mean, I was at the Magic Stick 3 times this month, and I hadn't been there since like the early part of last year or something, right? So I'm trying to think, like it had been a while. But it was the first time I went upstairs, and I haven't been at the theater since. I think I've only been in the theater once, and that was last year. It was last 420. I'm thinking I went. Did I get? Is that really the last time I was there? I'll check my list. Well, I'm not going to. But it had been a while, so it's like, and those were just random shows that like I wasn't expecting to go to at all, kind of thing. So, like it came up on surprise. Like I put my money down at the beginning of the month for the court thing, expecting this to be a quiet month, and it turned out to be busiest month since last year. So it will probably be the busiest month of the year. So, I think we'll see what comes out of the rant, right? If I get my rent abatement, then I'm going to be buying lots of shoes. I got to figure out what I'm going to wear to go to court too. I'm not sure. Like, I presume I shouldn't wear pants. And I have some dresses, but I don't have like business skirts. So I don't know how that's going to work. I may have to buy a skirt. Actually, it's something else to. Well, I mean, I've got the evening march. I think I've got a blouse I can wear, but I'm probably gonna have to buy a skirt. So, I mean, I'm not gonna. It might be the only time I ever wear that skirt. So, you can probably tell I'm not much of a skirt type. It's just, I mean, it's my lifestyle, really. If I was gonna go hang out in an office all the time, I'd probably wear skirts far more often. But my lifestyle is that I'm like out dancing at concerts. It's not skirt inducive, or it's not conducive to skirt wearing. But I mean, if I'm going to court, I'm not gonna dress up a little bit. So I need to look into that too. And something else too. But I mean, I can wait till after the first for that. I'm gonna put the money aside for the night for you know. But I don't like. I think maybe I'll spend $20 tomorrow night if I get some sleep between now and then. I'm gonna have to get some sleep eventually. Um, I wouldn't expect to spend, like I said, I wouldn't expect to spend more than $20 tomorrow though. So I still got enough for. If I don't go tomorrow, or I'm really cheap, it might even be enough for shoes. I'm not gonna spend more than $50 on shoes. It's like $45 or something. So we'll see how that feels. I'll probably go on the 1st of May-ish. It's probably the thing to do. Yeah. Okay. Although I'm gonna be $90 short on May because of the $70 anyways. But that was my, yeah, that was my GST in April. That $90, I'm gonna feel that $90 in May. I need this. The shoes are bad. It's probably part of the reason why my feet are messy. Like these are gone. Yeah. These are done. Okay. Maybe I'll even go down. Well, look at my options, right? These shoes have been demoed forever, right? But they were only $5. They're not good enough for general use. I'd have to get something else for those, but when did I lose those ones? I'm trying to think. No, they're there. Whatever. What was I talking about? Yeah, I was planning the rest of the month out a little bit. I need to clean in here and go from there. I need to shower before I get to sleep, but I need to get to sleep because I'm sleepy. Or it's what is it? Is it? I'm gonna have to pull that out. It's not. I'm not sleepy. I will rephrase that. I should be sleepy, but I'm not sleepy. Ugh. Should I even go? Yeah, the window's open for a couple of. It didn't take long for the windows open to kind of clear it out a little, but it's like it sticks to things, right? It's like it's just kind of wayward smoke, but it's still like you don't want it in here at all, and you know that it's like it's just gonna get worse for the day. So I need those windows open. Alright, let's just get back to cleaning in here. Like I said, I gotta take a shower before I try to get some sleep.